Hello, welcome. Today I'm going to be walking you through how to build a case for your Pwnagotchi. As a friendly reminder, under no circumstances should you ever use a Pwnagotchi or any other device to gain access, disrupt, damage, or cause loss to a network, system, or device that you do not control. To complete this build, you'll need a Pwnagotchi, of course, and a 3D printed case sold by Dunbar 3D Tech. You can find information on how to complete this build in writing following the link in the bottom left of the screen, and I'll also include a link in the description to this video. So this video is not sponsored by Dunbar and I'm paid nothing for this. This is all just for fun. Let's talk about what's in this bag. So included, you'll find the shell there in the center of the screen, a back plate that I'm holding now with ventilation. Your battery will go up against that, and then a front plate where your screen will show through. This also comes with 3 buttons. One is a switch that will go on the power switch of your Pwnagotchi, and then you'll use one of 2 buttons depending on which Pisugar you've got. Now I'm using the Pisugar2, so I will be using the mode button as it's referred to. You can see here one is the push button, that's the mode button, and then we have the power switch. I will be using the notched one that is on the right there. Now, in addition to the 3D printed case parts, we also have some other supplies to make sure that this is a success. So again, the faceplate, the ventilation, the case. We've got a razor blade in case we need to shave the case down, tiny little screwdriver. We've got our 3 buttons. Again, you'll only be using 2 of them depending on which Pisugar you've got. We have got our Waveshare e-ink display. In this case, I have the V4, our Pisugar, some tape, and let's go ahead and get rid of that. These are the 2 buttons we'll be using, so we'll get right into placing the buttons. So you'll see here that I'm using one finger to push the button through the hole in the case, and then what I'll be doing is grabbing some of that tape, and I found that it was really handy to just go ahead and place some tape there so that the button is held in place while we insert the other components into the case. We'll do the same thing for the power toggle. Go ahead and grab some tape and get that stuck there. Yeah, now when I first tried this, I found that the buttons were just falling out, and it was extremely frustrating to try to place the components while keeping the buttons in place. Now in my case, the HDMI port had a little bit of extra material here, so now we're just going to go ahead and use our razor blade and shave ever so gently to shape that in nice so that there's no obstructions when we try to plug our HDMI cable in should we want to use an external display. Now remember, you can always take away more here, but you can't put any back, so I'm just taking a little bit at a time until I can tell that the hole has a really nice uniform shape. You can see there I've kind of like caught the little notch that was giving me a little bit of issues, and of course when you place the components you'll be checking to make sure that everything is lined up nicely. Just like Bob Ross here, you know, just gonna take a little bit away. This is not something that you want to do with the components in there. You don't want to hit one of the components with a razor blade. You don't want all of these little pieces of filament falling in, perhaps melting should your device get too hot. So now that that's looking good, you can go ahead and start thinking about placing the battery. That is not the battery. This is the battery. Now here you're going to want to make sure that your power button is lined up with the placement of the toggle that you have taped down. If you push this too hard, and if the toggle is not lined up, you risk breaking your power switch. And that would be a very sad day, because your Pwnagotchi will essentially be bricked, or at least your battery will be bricked, and you'll need to purchase a new battery. So now that I've placed this apply a little bit of light pressure, and I'm pushing the push button to make sure that it's aligned with the push button that's on the battery module. And you'll notice throughout the build that I'm always kind of just checking, making sure the buttons are feeling good. Again, you want to check that your mode button is clicking, and it'll give a satisfying little click sound. You might have to ease things a little bit to get that where you want it to be. Once things look good, you can go ahead and place the other part of the battery that of course is magnetized. Now you'll see I'm holding down the circuit board, because if you hold the battery directly above the case, the battery is so strong that it'll yank the circuit board right out of the case. So you kind of want to get it as close as you can, get it fitting snugly, make sure that your buttons are all switching the way that you expect them to, your push button's working good, and then you can go ahead and remove that tape. Looking good. Next, we're going to go ahead and attach the Pi. So this is similar to, if you're like me and before you got your case, you wanted to put your Pwnagotchi together. There's some depressed little attachment contacts that make contact with your circuit board. You'll feel a nice little springy action, and you'll screw those in. Next, we'll be inserting the SD card. You want the flashy, reflective contacts facing your circuit board, and here I've just go ahead and used my screwdriver to push that in all the way. Easy peasy. You can also wait till the end to do this, but I wanted to do it while I still could take a look at the board. Again, checking all the buttons, making sure everything looks good. And now we are ready to attach our e-ink display. So I like to align the bottom two pins and then kind of just ever so slightly push it in. Oh, wait a second. Now you'll see here that when I first tried pushing this in, I started feeling a little bit of resistance. So definitely, if you feel resistance when doing your build, do not force anything. You will regret it. So I went in and sped up the video here, and you're just going to want to shave, little by little, get that looking really nice and uniform. Now it's a shame that I had to do this with components in, but a little bit of blowing, get those filaments out, and then you can try to place the e-ink screen again. Real good. Now you can see that I made it past the front edge of the case. Things are looking nice. Once you feel that your e-ink display is in there nice and snug, you can then move on to placing the covers. So these do have a little bit of bend to them, and you're safe to kind of just go ahead and pop them on in there. It's starting to come together. We're in the home stretch now. Looking good. So again, I really like what Dunbar's done here with these the ventilation and the instructions. It looked like there was a V1 or some prototypes where it had a bunch of holes for ventilation, and I feel like these solid lines give the case a really nice sleek appearance. So now we've got our back plate, our front plate on. We can go ahead and power it on. We've got green lights. That is a good sign. We are receiving power. We'll just wait for the screen to flicker to tell us that our Pwnagotchi is resetting, powering on, and we are good to go. Now, like any good builder, make sure to clean your mess, like, follow, and subscribe. See you next time.